Let me ask you something. What do you think is the hardest part about making money in trading? Most people will say finding the right strategy. Some will say indicators. Others will say capital, timing, or experience. But the real answer is much simpler and much harder. The hardest part of trading is doing absolutely nothing. And I'm not being dramatic here. I'm being honest. What separates consistently profitable traders from the 90% who keep blowing accounts isn't a secret indicator, a paid strategy, or trading every single day like it's a video game. It's the ability to sit still, to wait, to do nothing until the edge actually appears. Today, I want to break down the psychology behind that. Why patience is your biggest edge. Why boredom is actually a good sign. And how to build a system you can trust, especially when everyone else is screaming for action. The uncomfortable truth about trading. Let's start with something nobody likes to hear. Profitable trading is boring. If your heart is racing every day, if you're constantly jumping in and out of trades, if every candle close feels like an adrenaline rush, there's a very high chance you're losing money. The market doesn't care about your emotions. It doesn't care that you're bored. It doesn't care that you haven't taken a trade in 3 days and you're getting restless. The market will do what it does, with or without you. Your only job as a trader is to wait for the moment when your edge shows up. Think of it like this. A lion doesn't chase every animal it sees. It waits. It observes. It conserves energy. And when the right opportunity appears, weak, isolated, high probability, it strikes with precision. That's trading. You are the lion, the market is the savannah, and high probability setups are your prey. Most traders fail because they try to chase everything. The curse of overtrading. When I started trading, I was the opposite of patient. I believed more trades meant more money, so I traded everything. One week stands out very clearly in my mind. I took 23 trades. 23. Out of those, maybe 5 actually matched my strategy. The rest were impulse trades, patterns that kind of looked right, levels that sort of held, ideas I picked up from chat groups and social media. By the end of that week, I was down 18%. Here's the painful part. 4 out of those 5 real setup trades were winners. If I had taken only those trades and done nothing else, I would have been up for the week. That's when it hit me. My strategy wasn't the problem. My psychology was. I couldn't sit still. I needed action. And that need was costing me money. Why waiting is your real superpower. Waiting isn't passive, it's a skill. Markets move in cycles, trends, ranges, expansions, contractions. Within those cycles, there are very specific moments where probability shifts in your favor. Those moments are rare. They might show up once a day, once a week, sometimes not at all. And that's normal. You don't trade because you're bored. You don't trade because you feel like you should be doing something. You trade only when your rules are met. Fully. If they're not met, you wait. And here's what happens when you truly do that. Your win rate improves, your risk reward improves, your drawdowns shrink, your confidence grows because now you're no longer guessing. You're executing. Your system must be yours. This brings us to something critical. You don't need someone else's system. You need your own. Not a guru's strategy, not a YouTube setup copied blindly, not something that looks good on social media. You need a system you've tested, understood, and lived with. When you trade someone else's system, the moment it starts losing, and it will, you abandon it. But when you trade a system you built, tested, and understand deeply, losing streaks don't scare you. You know they're part of the game. That conviction changes everything. The danger of external noise. One of the biggest psychological traps in trading is other people's opinions. You're in a trade. Everything aligns. Then you check social media. Suddenly, someone with thousands of followers says the opposite. Now doubt creeps in. Here's the truth. They don't know your system. They don't know your risk. They don't know your plan. So why let them control your decisions? Once I learned this, I made a rule. When I'm in a trade, I disconnect. No Twitter, no news, no opinions. Only my chart, only my plan. Your system is your compass. Everything else is noise. Confidence comes from data, not hope. Real confidence doesn't come from motivation. It comes from testing, back testing, forward testing. Hundreds of examples. You need to prove to yourself that your system works. Not perfectly, but consistently. When you've seen your strategy survive drawdowns, losing streaks, and different market conditions, losses stop hurting emotionally. They become expected. That's the real edge, not speed, not activity, but restraint. Trading rewards those who can slow down in a fast world, those who understand that patience compounds while impatience destroys. Every time you don't trade without an edge, you're winning. Every time you wait instead of reacting, you're protecting your future. This game isn't about excitement. It's about survival and consistency. Trust your system. Respect time. Let probabilities work. Because in trading, the ones who master waiting don't just stay in the game, they eventually dominate it.